Hey, how's it going, man? Good to see you, Cords, mate. You okay? How's things? Soup's gambling away again. Did you win? Ooh, you won 18. Nice, mate. It's sponsored. It's not. Ceramic pad on its way. Nice. Bit of glass. Have to get back into the routine now of do some teardowns and stuff. Still not moved my desk around properly, but we'll see. So we're going to take a look at the Death Adder 8K, which I said I would do. Hadn't done it yet. I'm expecting a similar build to the V3 Pro, but we will see. What's your thoughts? Think it's going to be the same? I think it's going to be the same. Just a wired version. I remember inside the Death Adder V3. I think it had the yeah, it did. It had the riveted buttons, which was not good. This feels a bit less mushy, but we'll have to see. But it's still built the same. All the razors seem to be built the same at the minute with these plastic rivets. Well, this is a later version after people have said they don't particularly like it, the feel, so maybe Razer changed. Maybe Razer's changed their style. Doubt it. But yeah. Check all the cameras are working. Why does the timing look weird on it? Like it's bizarre. It looks like the numbers are a weird angle. The hell? I don't get that. Can be reversed. Yeah, it could be actually. I could have flipped it and not flicked it around. So look, looks weird. Maybe I flipped it. Give me a sec. Yep, full spotted thing, yep. Changed my camera positions in there, so I must have flipped it, not paying attention. Good call. Failure, Bob. Give me a sec. We'll get rocking and rolling. Alright, so let's do a teardown on the Death Adder 8K here from Razer. This is the latest one. We'll see what it's like inside, see what it's like compared to the V3, which we've already done a teardown for, and see if there's much difference in its construction. So let's see what it looks like. This is what it looks like. It's pretty much the same shape, slightly changed the design of it against the original Death Adder. But it's pretty much the same as the V3, so let's see what it weighs. Hang on. $57, is that? Respectable weight. Could be the cable, but it's decent weight. That's one of the lightest ergos I think I've seen around. Can't compare that. That's what it sounds like. I just feel like it's got micro side switches. We'll see. The pre-travel on the mains is better than the V3 Pro, but you can still see quite a bit there. Doesn't feel as mushy, I don't think. They've probably got the same switches. Still feels mushy though compared to other models.
I've got balls of steel.
Cheers for the follow, Zio20. How you doing, man? Appreciate it, man. Welcome to the channel. Still rocking same skate up. I still don't like the split skates at the front, and you can't put a large skate on it without sanding it down, which is a bit annoying. The rear one's okay though. Got your DPI button, your side, say, and your scroll. Scroll was quite nice, so quite a large scroll wheel. Cable is still pretty similar to the Speed Flex that Razer uses. It feels maybe fractionally lighter now, or more, not lighter, but less stiff compared to the Viper. But it could still be a lot better. It's still no power cord, like. Do you know what I mean? It's still a little stiff. Little firm. Size wise, it's my 18x9. It fits fairly nice. It's definitely a palm one for me. My main palm part's on the top of it. It's pretty big. Take some measurements in a minute. Just see how big it is, man. It's a beast. Side button placement for my thumb's not bad though. I could definitely get both of those without having to like reach forward on it. Let's check out the dims. The other thing is no RGB. It's just got this sort of Razer logo on the back, which is raised, so it'll definitely wear out, but it's nice to not see it riddled with RGB, although I know people do like that. Size wise, what's the length? You have to compare this to the other teardown we did, or review, we're going to call it, on the Pro, to give you some sizes. -6. What the hell? Okay, must have pushed the button. You see that? 28 long. We'll do some other measurements. What's the hump like? I've definitely got a high hump, this one. Just from the highest point. Tends to be in the center. So looking at 42 there, 43. It's rear booty. .66, definitely got a wide booty. Middle, from the top maybe. With the button not pressed. Oops. Easier said than done. Kind of looking at 60, 63, I would say. Bottom grip. Still pretty wide. 62. So it maintains that. You can see it's got a slight curve. Quite flat on this side with maybe a little bit of a curve, but hump. Trimmed to a right-handed player. These are not for left-handed people. You can see the front's also sloped. The scroll wheel, and we'll find out when we take it apart a little bit more, but it's got a wide scroll wheel, 8mm, pretty decent size. And it's pretty long, 26. Buttons are nice, decent size, 25mm there. A little bit small maybe on there, 24. Looks tall. It is tall, isn't it, mate? It definitely was. When did the mouse come out? I think it was about a month ago, mate, this one. 43. So most are around 38s, aren't they? So yeah, it's a little bit high. Definitely fits into your palm. The I was gonna say side buttons. They're an equal size, at least the side buttons. They're not messing around with different dimensions, but you're looking at 9mm, which is actually decent, pretty thick. You're not gonna have any problems hitting these with your fingers. Lights are in the way a little bit today. I'll change my desk around. 20mm in length. Same for the other side, so decent. Coating wise, it's okay. It's probably not. It's not very slippy, to be fair. It's decent, but it will wear. It's like kind of a matte rubbery finish. It's not textured. Smooth. I think it's a little bit mushy. I think it feels slightly better than the Pro in terms of clicks. But for me, I don't know. It just feels a little bit mushy for me. Looks more like a man on the desk. The side buttons are a little bit shallow, but no pre-travel on the sides. And the main scroll wheel, a lot of people ask me about that as well. It's firm. It's got very shallow scroll wheel.
I've got balls of
Almost
steel.
no movement, to be fair. But the Razor Opto Max is still a little bit mushy. Just to follow Misra Harbour, is it? Misra Harbour, ID man? Yeah, I buy this mouse received 2 days ago. Amazing, looks small than in the photos, you reckon? Go for Death Adder V2. Feels pretty big, I thought, man, to be fair. It's a beast. It's definitely for the larger hand. Carrot. Soup's gambling. Lost all of it. Compared to this, but it's definitely a decent size. I think it's probably the better Death Adder out of all of them. This is one I would pick over the Pro, even though I like wireless, because I just don't like that Pro V3, to be fair. Overall, not bad. Don't know why they keep splitting the front skate still. Winds me up. Eddie and Pure. So, actually, let's check. We need to check the sensor placement. I forgot to do that. Let's see where they put this sensor. So we're at reflections. I need to sort my cameras out. 64. It looks fairly center. Yeah, it's about that. You have to kind of measure from the front. I'd say it's central actually. This sensor. Looking at this. 33. I'd show it too much reflection at the minute. Maybe one. What's going to be tricky here is measuring the exact middle. Because there you go. So 60, 68 should be the middle, which would make it 34 each side. Is that right? Maybe. I think it's slightly to one side for some reason. could be wrong. That'd be the center. That'd be, if that's the center, right where the cable is, yeah. It's probably center. So, yes. What's its balancing point like? Need something to rest it on one sec. Check out its center balance, so it's front heavy or not. It probably is because the cable. It's probably about there, which is just in front of the sensor, so it's kind of here. Balancing point, so a little bit forward, but not much. But the cable's probably pulling it forward, to be fair. So it's probably more neutral when the cable's not on it. Right. Let's take apart this Death Adder V3 Pro. Let's see what it's like inside, see what it compares to the V3, not the Death Adder V3 Pro. So let's take apart this Death Adder V3. It's not the Pro, it's the 8K version, this one. We'll see how it compares to the Pro, which is the 4K wireless version. I'm expecting the same kind of buttons on the top. We'll see. We'll see if it's going to be worth grading to. So let's get on with the teardown and see what it's like inside. Let's first weigh it. $57 Gs. It's pretty good. So it's got to be one of the lightest, I would say, ergos around. Do you lot reckon? Do you think it is? I'm trying to think of a lighter ergo that's wired. I don't even think the X Lite's that light, is it, from Pulsar? Nicely rounded skates as well. Razer's definitely stepped up their skates compared to Logitech, especially. I'm not even sure I would change the default skates on the Razers off the bat. I'd probably wait for them to wear down a bit and then switch them out. They are that good. But we'll see when we do some more glide tests. Try to talk yourself into making dinner. Don't feel like it. It can't be asked. What are you thinking of making? Ooh, would have drilled there into the skate. Bit of chicken fajitas. Nice. I think you should make it, mate. That stuff's badass. Quite thick. Normally, well, they're not too thick, but 0.89 starting to get there. They're certainly on the thicker side. Making the feet is a lot of work. Yeah, I can understand that, mate. The fajitas, as I call them, fanjitas. Still on my temp desktop at the minute. Hot beef fangita. Nice. A rare fangita you have to make. Beef one. To be honest, My missus normally makes fajitas, and it's always corn, so I can't be asked making it. But I do like them. Chicken and stuff. I probably have more chicken than beef. More holes, but no actual screws on the front. Good to see. It looks like it's 3 on the rear, which is a bit unusual. Which I've just seen that. Even skates there as well. All 0.9 mil. I just had an Indian curry, so I'm all done today. I was a little bit late. There's like a smiley face to razor skates. You put them out, didn't you? Coating, it's probably a slight rubbery feel, but it'll shine. It's not bad. It's got a bit of, got no texture, but probably a little bit grippy. But I don't think it'll last very long. In fact, I know it won't last very long. It will shine. If you look at it from here. Pretty standard razor. It's not as textured as the white. It's better than what's on like a Superlight. So what we've got is 3 screws on the base. They're torque screws, that none on the front. We take the label off. Razor's now shrunk the label, if you notice. Used to be a little bit longer. Starting to, after some measurements, maybe they've now decided that the label was too heavy. I think we found a label that was 1 gram, which on lightweight mice is actually quite a bit. I'm going to draw it underneath there a little bit. Nice. Feels like 0.3 of a gram I'm going for. Spam. Not sure how much we're going to be able to take out of this. Find the right screw. There we go. You got a number on it? Yep. H1.5, I think it says. Yep. Maybe not. How did I get into repairing mice? I don't know, I just kind of messed around when I was a kid. Kind of enjoyed it. Playing modding mice in the older days, when they were really old. It's not the right screw. Okay. It's too tight to buy some new ones, and also I got fed up with certain mice. I like certain cables from other mice or certain switches, and that kind of got me into it. Like a different toolkit. He's giving us some weird screw. I don't know why we can't just use normal screws. Why they got to keep messing around? Why don't they use just a normal? Here's H15. See, it feels like it fits, but it doesn't. Okay, take it back. It will come out. You're gonna have to put a lot more pressure than I thought. Stop it slipping. So, all right, I take it back. Wrong camera. I meant to say, do you pair other electrical gadgets other than mice? And if they break, like, I'll have a go myself. I've always liked taking stuff apart and fixing it. When I was a kid. Like, real young kid. Used to always do stuff like that. Plus it was always too tight to pay for it to be repaired. Yo, Craigs. You did, man? You did next. Got clips by the feel of it down the sides. So again, like, who's that? Stevie Wonders with the knock. Hey, Stevie. Let's do this one at the freaking door, man. Soups reckons there is. See, without any screws, right? Look how like solid it is. Like you can't even like compare it again. Just about flex its rear. A bit gape, but other than that, you're right. It gets me as well. There, Soups. You can send them in. Just go to shop or just exclamation mark shop. You can see that. Give you an idea, mate. Hey, Stevie. Have a good week, mate. Wife is in Cali, is it? For a week, so living the bachelor life. Oh, mate, living the dream, baby. Living the dream. And it was micro switches. Look at that. Rather thin this out though quite a bit. Look at that. That is pretty trimmed out. Oh, it already makes me feel sick looking at the buttons. Oh, they're using the goddamn plastic rivets still. Why? Ugh. I hate them. I take a picture for my thumbnail for YouTube. Oh man, those bastards! I knew it. I knew it. I was hoping they wouldn't. Do you know what I mean? I was hoping they wouldn't do us like that. But they have. Do you shit? I live in England, Rika. I'm in Manchester, UK, mate. You can tell by the rain outside. It's been nailing it down. Do you ship to my background? Maybe. I'm about to throw it over the fence, mate. You never know. So, a bit of disappointment straight away, but we knew that anyway. There's literally not very much in this shell we're going to be able to take apart if you have a look. These side buttons, which, surprise, surprise, are riveted in. Should I zoom a bit more maybe now? Focus, damn it. Yep, so come on, Canon. Any sharp change compared to the V3? There'll be some because of the wireless bits, but we have to compare them. I don't know. Hard to tell. It looks slightly cleaner inside, I would say. Plastic rivets there. plastic rivets on the mains, including these little clips they put in. But to me that looks very similar. It looks a bit more clean here, I would say, Stevie. It looks like they've got some, put a bit of lube in here as well, you can see that. Just to make it smooth out a little bit. Yeah, it is. Does the shell creak under the thumb button? I mean, I can't tell now, but it didn't do, I don't think. Extreme pressure, you know? Try with no screws in. But maybe a little bit, but it's probably because the back's opening up a little bit, to be fair. I'd say it's pretty good without that, if you hold that in. Can't hear it creaking. But I reckon that'll come down to QA. You have a strike pack for your controller, but unfortunately my tactile button double click in game, so I'm going to send it over. Hope it can be repaired. We never know. You never know. I can have a look, mate. I'll have a look at that for you if you want. Something different. You have to chat to me maybe on the shop though, because it's a bit different to mice. They claim it develops that creak over time. It's not exactly ideal, is it? Oh yeah, your mouse will start to creak over time. This looks different inside the shell. They've got this, can you see that? It's a little piece there stuck up where the pressure is, but it's offset to the scroll wheel. See that? A bit weird, but maybe these tracks are different. But it looks similar. Got another post here, and this little one here. So you're squashing it, and they've relaxed some of the reinforcement on the rear. What's that? Prostate stimulator. don't be sending in that shit. Literally, that shit. Don't fix everything, you know what I mean? These little bits are different, I think, on the mains. We've not got any stopper for the side buttons, but they didn't feel like they were pushed too far. So that's it. You literally can't take the shell apart. Yeah, you pretty much screwed. That's it. It's all one piece. What's interesting is how thick. Look how thick these bits are. Interesting. $28 grams, 29 grams. But we have to remember, I guess, that that's the whole shell, isn't it? So it's a bit more difficult to compare that because of some mice you've got to take the buttons off and stuff, and you can't on that. So because Razer's building it as one unit at the minute. That's what the PCB looks like. Part of the base and the PCB. We've got a different scroll wheel, haven't we? Hasn't it got a different mechanism at the front, like the one that lifts up? I can't remember what it's called. On the V3. It's pretty simple inside this, to be honest. Got the old micros. It's the ones that begin with D. I can't remember the name. Remember the name of these ones? I can never remember their name, these switches. And it looks like they're the rear soldered ones. Yeah, there we go. What's that? Razer Latter T2. Interesting. Little grey razors in here. We've got 3 match screws on the PCB. 1, 2, 3. And now they're back to a normal screwdriver. Brilliant. Actually do it to trollers so we can't take them apart. But I mean, who doesn't have all the screw fittings these days? They all come in these standard little cases anyway. It's not like they're hard to get now, so it's quite a shallow screw. It's not like screwdriver kits now don't have all the attachments. So it looks like we've got a total of 6 screws in this one. Quite a large encoder. Damn, it's a beast. Original Xbox had the Torques back in the day, yeah. I'm trying to work out to get them out. I have to unscrew them. Got 1 clip on the rear here as well. So again, like maybe 1 in the front, but you don't need too many screws in the PCB. So Razor's done a pretty good job at trimming this down. Yeah, interesting. Don't know why the plastic rivet and everything though. Power DPI plastic rivet, that's pretty common. They thinned out a bit of weight. They should have maybe done a bit more around here. I don't know why they didn't, because I guess they didn't want people to see the holes, but it kind of defeats the point, I guess. But use like a hexagon pattern rather than circles. See, they tried to lighten it though, just feel fairly light. It's like a nice sturdy side button configuration as well, which is definitely helping against that extra movement. It didn't feel like it moved on these, were pretty good. So I'm gonna go for 12 grams. Oops, wrong button. It's close. Ah, damn. I was robbed. One absolutely meaty scroll wheel, which I could tell straight away. Reminds me of the Basilisk scroll wheel a little bit. It's kind of the size we're looking at, this beast. Beast mode drug dealer. Yeah, you never know. I've been around. An old man. Huh. You'll never know my history. I hope not anyway. Now these always blow my mind. It's the scroll wheel is even. Oh, I can't, let me show you properly. You can see here on the front, it's actually narrower on the front than it is on the back. Tapered to the mouse. Like that's flush. Weird, isn't it? The Basilisk is the same. Do you fancy changing your scroll wheel out or rubber for it? Or you just snap it and you do a replacement? It does remind me of the Basilisk. I can see that the Basilisk. If I'm a ring measurer. Scroll wheel's got some little knobbles on it for your pleasure. Don't actually mind this texture. Raises the scroll wheel's pretty nice. This is a big ring, man. Holy moly. This is big. Bob's gate measurer. Should call it that. Okey-doke. Left with the cable. They're going to ping out nicely. Going to be a pain in the ass. I seem to be using these ones a bit more tricky to get out. Got to be careful with this because you will damage it. It's a pretty small PCB. Still need to move my camera a bit closer to me. That's why you see it going quite close to my face. Like you can't see it because I'm trying to bring it so I can actually see it because I'm at all my eyes. There we go. Got the razors. We've got the razor stress relief on it. Definitely going to thin the cable out. If it's 20, it's pretty light. Sort of power goes on around 20 grams. I reckon this will be like late 20s because it's not like the old school cabling, but it's never been the best. Yeah, still a bit like a Speedflex Stevie. I think it's probably slightly better than the Razer Viper 8K, but it's still a bit stiff. You can certainly push the mouse with it still, as we showed before. Yeah, 30s. So power cord's around early 20s normally. So you can tell how thick is the cable. I mean, it's a little bit of a guess because you've got the extra like quite a large stress relief on the stuff, but if you want the pin layout, you probably need a cable tester, but can't get the idea. And now we've got the PCB. Now I'm going to take the switches off. So they kept the same mechanism on the back for the Opto-Mechs, which means you can use any Opto-Mech in it. You don't have to use these ones. Any generation as well. Oh, I've got a black line down one of mine. Someone got a bit excited with the pen. £0.50, which is actually pretty normal for most of them. And then we got the PCB. Now you can see they've got a monstrous middle button with a pretty standard square one on it. It's not very tactile, it's quite flat, I find. A little bit dead. We've also got a 15mm Kale encoder, which is big. 13's normally pretty big, but 15's massive. But no real problem there. And that pretty small PCB, really. It's nice. Encoders a Kale 15. There it is. I don't think anyone makes encoders that big, to be fair. take a look at the MCU in a minute. I'm pretty sure it's going to be very similar to all the other Razor ones. So let's see why they change it. It's a Risha on the V3, isn't it? Thingy as well, like is the one that's clipped into the front of the mechanism at the front that they have. I can't remember what they're called. They have like a lift up one, don't they? Is that the right one on the V3 Pro? I can't remember. I have to check my own tear down. No surprise. No weight. It's weightless. Check the PCB weight and then we'll do the rest. 8 grams, still pretty heavy, given its size. So it's got a lot of extra bulk on it. It's got like the bigger encoder and the expandable block, which you won't find anywhere. That's definitely a custom block for it. Could be the smallest one though for an 8K transplant, if you wanted to do that. You have to use a crappy Optomex then. We'll find out the MCU, mate. Calm your tits. How you messing? Huh? 8mm. Did I measure that one now? Did it mess up? If you did want to change it, you're looking at 14mm of thingy. So you guess an MPX. You reckon encoder? Yeah, 15mm. Let's get the old man vision out one sec. Let's have a look. Yep. NXP. It's an LPC5528, I think. He's rocking the PAW 39500M T5QU sensor. Is it a 3950 DM, I think, maybe? So it's a Viper 8K. No surprise. It's probably the same PCB, mate. But it's not far off. Don't see why they wouldn't put the same PCB in it. There we go. Pretty simple, the Death Adder V3. Yeah, 8K to be fair. Disappointed Razer didn't do a slightly better job with the buttons, but can you show the button construction? Yeah, no, isn't it? No problemo. You'll be disappointed though. So the mains are riveted, the sides are riveted. We put a bit of lube on the plunger, I guess, that's what you call it in this part, or this bit here. That starts not the plunger, but it stops the side-to-side movement. This bit stops it wiggling side to side, which is pretty sturdy on that. And then you've got this extra bit on the plunger though, which I've not seen, I can recall, on Razors. But yeah, plastic rivets, what a surprise. So there we have it, the Death Adder 8K. I mean, overall construction wise, It's still a shame they're using plastic rivets. I don't know why they're still doing that. You can't take anything apart in the shell. It's all one piece now, which I'm not overly a fan of. I tried to put a bit of lube in to keep the lateral part lubed, stop it moving around. They've done a little bit of drilling in the base, which is nice to get some weight out of it. It weighs 57 grams, which is definitely definitely light for a ergo, and it's 8K. They use some custom blocks and stuff on the buttons of the PCB and a 15mm Kale encoder. Other than that, using micro side buttons, which is a bit of a shame. Don't know why they're not using full size again, given they've got quite a low weight. Overall, I'd say it's pretty simple construction from Razer. So, and it uses the Opto Mech. I think the actual switch in this feels slightly better than the V3 Pro. So I have to compare maybe the V3 Pro versus this one. I think you're asking Stevie as well to see what the difference is in construction, but you can always look at the teardown and take a look. So we're taking apart the V3 Pro and see what the differences are. So, but it's okay. For me, it's probably the one I'd pick out the Death Adders. If I had to pick a Death Adder that I wanted to use, this would probably be the one, but I'm still not much of a fan of it. It's not even worth you're not even worth doing a non-destructive teardown on this. Because there's nothing you can really take out. A couple of screws maybe. We could probably do a slight one, but you're not going to get much out of it. You know what I mean? Might get to 55 grams. So let's try and reduce the weight then of the V3 Death Adder. We'll do a non-destructive first and then a destructive one. But like I say, in the non-destructive one, I think, because of the amount of components there are, we might get a gram or two out of it, I think, and that's only if we leave the side buttons out. So let's take a look then. Let's see what's possible. So let's put it back together. Now we're taking it apart. You can always see the teardown if you want to see how to deconstruct it. One thing worth noting here is how close it is to the scroll wheel spindle is to coming off the button. It's like just, I guess it's centre, but it would have been nicer to be like more over here, like that. It's quite close, like a little bit off plane, and you're going to just miss it if it flex slightly or something. Get quite a bit off. You just ripped off the stress relief. So chunky on these. Let's go back under it, don't it? There's that one.